figure it out.
I'll say this, and we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to my own private Kokomo. I'm Ryan Meharry here with Dave Tooney. Joining us today is the wonderful Dan Lippert.
Wonderful, thank you.
I mean, how would you describe yourself?
I love wonderful.
Wonderful's great.
Of Geico fame?
Yeah.
No kidding, man.
See that thing a lot.
Yeah, it's been running like crazy.
Yeah, are you doing an intro? Can I do a side story already, or would I be interrupting your intro?
Go for it, please. No, go for it.
I just got a check, a very small check. I guess they don't pay a ton for this, for like a movie to be shown in movie theaters, the buyout, which was like they bought me out for that on like March 2nd, so like 2 weeks before movies went away forever in theaters. So I made it just under the wire.
That's great.
That one, yeah,
that's awesome.
Nice, cool 600 bones.
Oh, very nice.
Before tax.
Oh, before tax. You sly dog. Let me finish my beer real quick. No, I'm just
Is that a beer? It looks like one.
No, it's a protein shake.
Nice.
It'd be really alarming, I think, if I was having a beer, right?
It fits because it looks like you're wearing a football jersey, so it just feels like it's like a tailgate.
Yeah,
I am wearing a football jersey. Yeah. Mostly just like I don't have any clean shirts. I'm wearing a football jersey in my underwear. So.
Prove it. Oh yes.
Oh.
The screen grab click across the world just went off.
Oh yeah,
all of America.
Hopefully Drew and Tony aren't in here. They'll I guess they can get it later. Anyway, so Dan, we asked some of your closest friends to write you a brief, kind letter to share how much they love you and care about you, and we've compiled them, and Dave and I are going to take turns reading them to you.
I'm excited.
How comfortable does this make you? How comfortable are you with this?
On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 5 to 6. I think it'll feel really nice, but I will feel a lot of pressure to react in a way that it matches the effort and kindness of the letters.
Yeah,
sure. Well, to be fair, some letters don't have a lot of effort. Okay. No, I'm just kidding. Everyone did a great job.
Dan's cool. Gotta go.
Hope he has a great summer.
I think that 5 to 6 is like the well-adjusted answer. Like you don't want to be like too comfortable with it, but like you don't want us to be like reading them and you going, that's correct. Yes, that's all true.
That sounds right.
But then like being 10 and totally terrified of hearing kind things about yourself, that's probably not good. That's not good either. So I think 5 and 6, you seem like it makes you seem very well adjusted.
Okay, good. As an example, last night my mom listened to one of my podcasts and we were FaceTiming and she was like, it was really funny. And then immediately was like, you should hold the microphone closer to your face. And I wish this other scene was longer. So that's kind of how, and she's like one of the most supporting, loving people in the world, but it's how I'm used to receiving compliments, is like with a little bit of a note too.
Yeah, same. Do you do that? Do you find that you do that if somebody gives you just a direct compliment? Do you follow up with a little critique of yourself to kind of even it out?
I've made sure to stop doing that because I knew I was doing it. I could feel it, and I could feel when other people do it, and like it feels I've gotten used to just saying thank you. Yeah.
I struggle with it still, and this is a good reminder for me to just say thank you. That's all. That's all they want.
Someone, I think, like in the world of theater, when I was like in college, said something of like, when people do that and you like give it a caveat, you're basically calling them a liar. Like if someone's like, this is really good, and you're like, well, actually, this could have been better. You're basically saying like your taste is incorrect.
Yeah, you have bad taste, my friend, if you like me. Well, Dave, should we get right into it?
I think we should get into it. I think we're a good couple of guys to do this with you, Dan. We've known you for a long time through UCB, of course. I was just thinking about this, and maybe you guys know more specifically for your own meetup. But Dan, I can't remember when I first met you. I mean, I know I saw, I'm assuming it's me watching you at an indie show or something like that, but I can't remember my introduction to you for the first time. Do you remember? Not that you need to.
I remember it just crossed my mind again because I think you might have
feels like a power move by Dave, by the way.
I don't remember when we first met. Do you? When my friend Clay was in that IO improv competition,
Yes.
and he got to the final 3, and you were in the final 3, and I went to that show the night that they premiered like a sketch that you did where you were 2 cops.
Yeah.
You played both of them.
Wow.
And I had never met you before, but that like stuck with me. That was like the first funny video I saw at a live show. So it really stuck with me of like, who is this guy? This is really great. This is really funny.
Oh, that's very fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that was the execution. Was that what it was called, right, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it and that was that the first time they'd done it?
Second time.
Okay.
Heather
And
Campbell,
Dave won.
I think, won the first time.
It was like an American Idol for like improv, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It was like 3 months or something like that. It was long.
Yeah. But it was popular, right? It was a popular show.
Yeah.
They loved competition at IO West. They loved it. Like every show by the end of it was a cage match.
They love it.
Like 900 cage matches going on. And then Dave, you won that. You won the execution.
I did win it.
What was the prize? It was like $500, but also something else, right? Like
prize was $500, and then you also got meetings with someone at individual meetings at ABC, NBC, like CBS and Fox.
Did they deliver on all 4 meetings?
Maybe there may have been one that didn't deliver, but I went to at least 3 of the 4, and they were. I mean, I had nothing. I had nothing for them. I was out here for like 6 months at that point. I barely had a headshot. I had no credits. I hadn't written anything. I didn't know how the business worked. Like, what a pointless. I felt bad for them because I.
What did you do? Did you just come in and introduce yourself and say, "Hey, my name's Dave"? Just kind of gave like some background info?
Like, they were nice and they like kind of carried the conversation. Like, what's going on? Where are you from? What's happening? But like, I had nothing of note to offer in any way.
Sometimes.
But it was cool if I had something, if I'd been out for a minute, those would have been good meetings to have. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I had something my first like 5 years in LA.
It was weird.
I mean, you should have gone in and like said, okay, so what do you guys want to pitch to me?
Yeah, I just won an improv competition. You see that video? It was shot on a mini DV. So there's been something.
All right, shall we get right into it?
Yeah, that's great. So we've known each other for a long time, my friend.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, we all came up, I think, like at the exact same time, right?
Yeah, I have a weird thing where like I think a lot of people did like boot camp and kind of were like around the indie scene together, and I wasn't doing a lot of that stuff. So like a lot of my first time meeting people was just like out and about, like through Justin Michael or something like that. Because I wasn't like as involved in the day-to-day fun and like community building, because I was in a relationship when I first started improv. And then when that ended, I was like, I'm fully into improv, baby.
Ditch the dead women, rocket it right up.
It was you knew a lot of those guys like at USC, right? And so you were doing comedy, just not necessarily in the UCB world.
Yeah, I was like taking classes, but just wasn't doing all the like social extra elements of it. Like I felt kind of like on the outside of that for a while, which I'm sure everybody does, whether or not they are a part
all
of
the schmoozing you got to do to make it in the UCB community.
Yeah, I wasn't around rubbing elbows with Jim Woods quite yet.
You got to wine and dine, everyone. All right, let's do this. Let's jump right in. Dave, I believe you have our first letter which comes courtesy of your good friend, Gilly Neeson.
Oh, this is great.
On your team Winslow, performing on Friday nights at 9:30 in an alternate universe where it's still happening. All right, here we go. This is from Gilly. Dear Dan. Hi, Dan. When I think of you, I am struck with a sense of how wonderfully complex a man you are. And thank goodness for that, because you remain one of the most exciting people on earth to share a stage with. My gosh, I'm sorry. Or even to sit around and talk to after nearly a decade of friendship. Sometimes I literally don't know how you're able to be so quick and so funny. Your wit and intellect are sharp as nails, but you're also so incredibly kind and sensitive. I've always felt like I had a deep understanding of your soul, maybe because of our shared interest or similar backgrounds. And that's been my own smug little point of pride. In a world full of posers and losers, your opinion means so much to me, and I feel majorly lucky to have you in my life and to be counted among your friends. I love you, Dan. Except he says, I love you, Da. Is that a joke?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it's a weird old inside joke from Winslow where they call me Dottie.
Dottie?
Yeah, or Da.
Like Dottie as in like the woman's name Dottie, like Dottie?
No, like daddy, but said with an H.
Gotcha.
It's a very long, stupid joke where I play a character of their dad who had them all with Jennifer Lawrence, who is now dead.
I like
the specifics get weirder and worse from there.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with what's canon in the Winslow verse.
I think they were all born out of a watermelon. They didn't come out of her tummy also as part of the
out of her tummy. Dan, I'll notice that you were, I felt like I noticed that you seemed affected by it, the letter, almost instantly, and then which made me affected right away. Is that, yeah?
Yeah. It's very sweet to just like feel loved like that. It makes me think of, I was like going to friends' weddings because we come from like such a not open and vulnerable community generally,
right?
And so it's always nice to see like vows and see like our friends talk to their loved ones and each other in a way that we don't really see that often. It feels kind of like that, where it's like, oh, that
oh, nice for sure. Occasionally though, we get some bad vows.
Bad vows, bad toasts.
Yeah. Oh boy, the bad toast.
Do you have a specific? We don't have to say it, obviously, but are you guys both aware of a specific example?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there's one that goes without saying. I'll read the second one.
Thank you, Gilly. That was very nice.
That was super nice.
Yeah, thank you, Gilly. That was sweet. That got me right away. This next one comes from another Winslow teammate, Mono Agapian. Here's what Mono has to say. Dan, you're the best. You have a very special way of making everyone feel seen and celebrated. You make specific efforts to celebrate your friends, and it's fucking cool. You're malleable and able to get so excited about so many different comedic perspectives. You're fun. You're really fun. You always make other people look funnier, which is hard because you're there being all really funny. You are awesome. That was from Mono.
Oh, thanks, Mono. This is great.
Selling how fun you are.
Dan, when did you first meet Mono?
I don't remember the first time I met Mono, actually. It must have been like near or in that house that him and Betsy have lived in since I've known them. That's probably where I met like 75% of the people that I know through UCB for the first time. Mono is now the aforementioned ex-girlfriend that when we broke up, I got more into UCB. A few weeks ago, she texted me, or like, I guess a few months ago when we were still out in the world, she was like, Dan, I'm writing on something with Mono. And they both like got this weird like 1 week job where they were writing erotic fiction together for like an app.
Well, really?
Yeah, I hope they don't mind me sharing that.
I'm sure. I gotta read that. I want to read some of that erotic fiction.
Yeah, I was like, please send me like my first love and my good friend's erotic fiction that they co-wrote together. I would love to read that.
How graphic does erotic fiction get? Is it, in my mind, I'm picturing just like those books that like erotic novels that you could buy like a bookstore that was just kind of racy, that have Fabio on the cover. But erotic fiction is way more than that.
Yeah. My experience with erotic fiction, when I was like going through puberty, and like internet porn seemed like a little like hard to get or whatever. Like I didn't really know where to go, but somehow I had come across an erotic literature website, and so that was my go-to. And they get real gross, real wild. And like there would be so many times I would be reading them, and all of a sudden in a heartbeat they would turn racist. Just like where did that come from?
Like,
and now I'm not sure what's turning me on.
I almost put it down, but then that racist part came up.
There would always like something would be going on, and then a person of color entered the room, and then just the way they would describe them was just like not the written description was always, I think that's not okay. That's not
like a character from Get Out, kind of, where it like thinks that you're like idolizing them, but it's like no.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very weird vibe.
Yeah.
Dave, I wonder if it's still up. I remember the website was literotica.com.
Ooh, what a great plug.
Yeah. I'm dying to know if it's still around. I'm gonna look
for a sponsor.
Yeah, oh god, I would love that.
I wonder how long they worked on, because it's almost a pun or like almost a portmanteau, but they didn't quite get there.
Yeah. It's like we got to keep it brief. Literotica, it's great.
Literature erotica? No.
Yeah.
I think it has to get graphic because there's only like so much you can say that is like non-specific before you have to be like, all right, we got to get into it. Like,
yeah. And I'll say some of them were good. Like there were some good writers. Like I remember some of them now that I'm thinking about it. Like it's like, oh yeah, that's good.
That's how Michael Crichton I think.
All of Michael Crichton's men in his erotic stories are all like 6'8" too. You know.
Yeah.
Incredibly tall.
That's why all the T-Rexes have huge dongs.
Dan, are you drinking two different beverages at the moment?
I am. I'm going Paul Welsh style. I don't know if you ever see Paul Welsh, but he's always got like 6 drinks on him. Nice inside baseball reference there. But yeah, I have a coffee, but coffee dehydrates me like crazy, so I have to go one to one with water.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I was double fisting it there for a second. I had my protein shake and also my water. Now I'm just water. Protein shake's done. So.
Yeah, I just finished my coffee.
No, there you go. All right. Becoming a little more sensible.
I've been looking for a decaf coffee to get delivered because coffee is like the big thing I look forward to in the day, and so once it's done, it's like, all right, now what? So I think I need a decaf for like 6 p.m. to be like, all right, in 5 hours I get my second coffee.
Yeah, we'll treat at the end of the day. Dave, would you like to read our next letter?
Yep, I do. I would. All right. Our next letter comes all the way from Boulder, Colorado.
Whoa.
The old mining state. This one's from Betsy Sidaro.
Betsy
Sidaro. Longtime improviser, friend of Dan, friend of ours, friend of everyone. All right. Dan, I feel so lucky that over the last few years we've become very good friends. And no matter what we're doing together, whether it's getting wild in Mykonos, dancing with Hat Man in a weird casino, or just hanging out watching Wayne's World, I always have a great time. You make me feel comfortable to share things about my life, big or small, and that's an extremely special thing. I always know I'll have a fun time with you, Dan, and I can't wait to be able to go to a barcade or weird strip club with you again.
That's really sweet.
Oh, Betsy. It's hard to match the feeling of like being loved by Betsy.
Yeah.
It makes you feel like very special because like everyone wants to be her friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
What
was the Hat Man story? What was
Hat Man was this past New Year's. We ended up at the Morongo Casino.
Yeah.
And we were there and it was like kind of empty on New Year's Eve during the day. And we had to get like, there was a problem with our TV. So these guys came up to fix it. And we were asking them, we were like, so what's New Year's like here? And they're like, shoulder to shoulder. It gets crazy. It gets crazy. And they left and we were kind of making fun of them. We're like, shoulder to shoulder. It's empty. And then we were like down in the casino, and there's this guy who was working there who was like, this dance floor is going to be crazy tonight. People are going to be grinding. And it was like the floor of the casino by the entrance. And we were like, okay, sure. And then at New Year's, it was like packed. It was shoulder to shoulder. And there was a DJ and they were playing music and we were all dancing, and like people kind of weren't dancing. They were just filming us and watching. But there was a guy with a huge sombrero in there, and we all saw him and we were like, Hat Man. And like we all kind of became friends, and he would like dance with us and like twirl his hat on his finger. Like our reaction is, I'm sure, exactly what he imagined when he put on the biggest hat of his life.
So excited.
He was like, everybody. He got
older guy,
exactly
younger
what he
guy?
wanted. What's that? He was probably in his like late 40s.
Okay. Was the crowd generally older?
Yes. Yeah, significantly.
Okay, so the guy fixing the TV, the promise of it being packed shoulder to shoulder delivered. The guy on the casino floor, but no one was really bumping and grinding.
Well, there was some grinding. At first there was, and then like after like 10 minutes, it was just us dancing on the floor, and like then like a circle of people kind of watching us.
Do you think you turned everyone off from dancing?
I felt that. Yeah, I felt everybody kind of be like, "All right, this is over." This guy got a little too into the grind.
That's so funny.
My dance style hasn't changed since bar mitzvahs and 13-year-old parties, so I really get up on grinding.
Oh yeah, that's it. Are you someone you like to get on the dance floor?
More, yeah, with friends. I don't like to just like show up on the dance floor and like try to dance with strangers, but like if I have a safety, like a comfort bubble of friends, that's a lot of fun for me. You guys can maybe relate to this, but for the longest time, it just, because we're so tall, when you're like on the dance floor, you feel very like everyone can see you. You are like above everybody. So my self-consciousness is like turned way up about that stuff.
Yeah. I really, that's one I like, and I don't know what this says about me, but I don't usually get that. Like, I don't feel like everyone can see me. I feel like nobody sees me, which I think is unhealthy in its own way. Like, and so that's probably why I'm constantly trying to get attention.
Nobody sees me.
About it. Yeah, nobody sees me. Hello, everyone.
What a great personal discovery.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm jotting that down for therapy next week. Eleanor, got something new for you.
Oh, Eleanor.
Let's go on to our next one.
I'm having a lot of fun here.
You're having a lot of fun?
Yeah, I'm enjoying these.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Hey, real quick before we go to the next letter, did you guys grind in college? Like when you go to dance, when you go to a club or something like that, or go to like some dance thing? I remember doing that in college. Like, I mean, I didn't have the opportunity to do it very often. I can count on probably one hand how many times I was granted that option. But that was definitely like the age of where like, oh yeah, I'm getting hammered and doing that.
I think
yeah.
You did?
I mean, like, are you asking if I did it like frequently or?
No, just like, cause like we talk about grinding. I'm like, well, I certainly don't do that as an adult, but like, when did I do that? Oh, I did that in college for sure. I can
honestly, I feel like I did it more as an adult than in college. I was very timid in college. So grinding opportunities were pretty scarce. And I usually just like, I had like a girlfriend, like I would find a girlfriend, I'd find one and then just like cling to that. I was like for the most part in college, like in long relationships.
My last grind I can probably remember was my junior prom with my date Annika. Like I don't remember grinding beyond that, and I think that one might have been like a grind where it came close to me getting messy in my pants.
Wait, am I maybe like confusing like what grinding constitutes? Like somebody like they're like literally bending over, the whole thing is just basically simulated sex?
No, like from like it could be that, or like on someone's leg. I feel like it was like a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, like you're each like grinding on each other's thigh or something like that. I feel like.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. Mostly more my adult life, which feels like bad all of a sudden the way you guys.
No, that's great. Like, congrats.
Thanks. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm talking to my Lyft driver who's younger than me, like, oh, I totally grinded on this hot girl tonight.
If you didn't take so long, she'd be in here right now.
Yeah, you're fucking full. Thanks, by the way. I could have had her.
When I valeted like private parties and stuff in LA. And one night we couldn't find this guy's car. And so I was like waiting next to him while they were looking for it. And he was like, it was after an art opening. And he was like, man, I was supposed to have a three-way tonight. So there were these two chicks there and they wanted to have a three-way tonight, man. You guys better find my car. I was like, all right. I'm like 22 years old, like really impressed.
Wait, were you really impressed or were you rolling your eyes?
No, not at all. Like it was just, it's like how like kids would talk in like when they were 14 where it's like, yeah, I had a three-way with Rebecca and Ashley last night. And it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, like, oh yeah, no, like a guy said, yeah, oh yeah, no, I've had sex. When you orgasm, your legs get really, really stiff and you can't move them for a while. Like, oh.
That guy was having those night terrors.
Yeah.
Sleep paralysis.
So yeah, there's features, man. Yeah, I was hoping you'd be like, the guy said he was having a threesome and you'd be like, oh, I'll get your car soon, sir. Oh no, I want you to get to your threesome.
I'm so sorry, we got to get you out of here. Don't tip. This information is enough for me.
Yeah, I'm panicking.
Can I have your autograph quick before you go?
This is a guy who got a threesome. That's his name right there.
The bidding starts at $4.
All right, here, let's read this next letter. This next one comes from Mary Sasson. Mary writes, Dan, boy, oh boy, do I feel lucky to be your friend and teammate for the past 9-ish years. Every time I watch you on Winslow, I feel like an audience member delighted by every choice you make and constantly surprised by your moves. And there's a special pride I get when I can make you break in a scene or laugh on the back line because you have such good taste. I don't know how often when I bring up your name that someone interjects, God, Dan's so funny. I hope you know how much everybody respects you in the community and that you deserve every bit of it. And I'm so glad I've gotten to play with you for so long. It's been such a pleasure to be your friend. You're so thoughtful, and I love hearing your introspection and how you see the world. And I love how much joy you produce while hanging with friends and doing bits. Dan, you're so funny, talented, and clever. Please keep being my friend because one day I'll need a job from you. That's from Mary.
Thank you, Mary. These are great.
So weird how she ends every letter with that.
That's her email signature.
Yeah. I might need a job from you someday.
Oh man, it really like it's very sweet to hear that, because I feel like in subconsciously, like getting people that we respect, like, and all our friends to laugh is like such like personal currency of like self-worth, and it's like very nice to hear that part of it too.
Yeah.
Does getting a big laugh from an audience feel better, or making like a comedian friend who's like taste you value and respect so much, getting a laugh from them? Which do you guys think feels better?
I do love them both, but definitely the friend. Like usually when it's a
I
friend
agree.
one for me though, like half of the laugh is how much the audience didn't laugh. Like you'll kind of hear
Yeah.
them start laughing and then you'll hear them laugh even harder at like how much the thing didn't land.
I'll remember what I said in that instance.
That's
way
true.
more than like whatever I did to make an audience laugh.
Yeah, that's the thing you talk about after the show. It's like
Yeah. Fly eye on that one.
yeah, I think
it's fun to watch like a Winslow show when it's fun to watch it when you guys are clicking, but then every now and again when it doesn't quite go right, and watch like you start laughing at the misfortune and Mary and Drew and like the absurdity of suddenly of what we're doing, and it's so funny to watch that.
laughing at the misfortune is a very perfect way to I love that phrasing.
But that's like to be able to do that, like it's such a sign of like a strong, cohesive team, you know,
Yeah.
that like that isn't really rattled by anything. I think that's such a great trait.
Yeah, it's not like turn on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas on Bangarang, we immediately start stabbing each other in the back. And,
Who's this
deer in
character? This
Yeah.
guy doesn't make any sense here.
sometimes we'll just turn into like, what are you doing?
You're blowing it.
We will drop all pretense and just start criticizing the actual person.
I was trying to remember because I don't think the last Winslow show before UCB had to close was like that spectacular. And so I was trying to remember like what the last things I did on that stage were before having to be quarantined for up to like a year or more.
Were you able to remember?
No, it was definitely like it was one of those shows that ended this way. Like so I'm trying to remember what the specifics were though. Do you guys remember
we were
the last?
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I felt like the Bangarang show was ultimately fine. I remember literally nothing from it.
Yeah, I don't remember much either. I think it was a funny show. We were satisfied, but I don't remember. I can't remember the specifics. But I'm with you in that. Yeah, remember what I did. But I'm with you. I feel like if it was a 30-minute show, and my two choices are kill for the first 25, suck for the last 5, or suck for the first 25 and kill for the last 5, I would take that kill for the last 5 every time.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it feels like you like achieved a new max reps in weightlifting or something like that, where it's like, yeah, I was failing for a while, but then I like cusped over.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so funny.
They saw we were capable by the end. They saw, they know.
I mean, definitely way more satisfying. And I think like from an audience perspective, like probably impressive, you know, to be able to pull yourself out of the hole. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you seen or been a part of a show that sucked for the first half and we're still able to save it? I don't even know if I've ever done that where I've been able to pull out of a nosedive that's been that 50% of the show. I
think one of the Winslow DCM shows at the UCB East Theater in New York, like I remember us all leaving kind of proud because we were like, wow, we really like, you have the added element of everyone not knowing your team and kind of being like, all right, prove to me that you're funny, like LA team. And so the first half we were not proving it. And I remember the second half, like we got on board and like started doing some fun stuff and it like ended well. And I remember that feeling like an achievement of like, that is better than starting out funny. And then like you almost feel like you blew a huge opportunity if you do it the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I vaguely remember a Herald Night show, Dave, that was like that. Like I remember like getting a note from Susie being like, rough start, but you guys finished really strong.
I was just looking at I used to record most of our Herald Night shows.
Yeah.
I'll put my iPhone up in the booth or whatever and record it. And one of the and Susie would kind of set it up for us because she was the one coaching us at the time. And one, she had it reversed, so it was on her for virtually the entire show. And she was great. She was just kind of like, and she was like just being diligently watching the show and taking notes. And I could just remember thinking like, I was nervous to watch it, and I didn't watch the whole thing because I'm like, I don't want to see her rolling her eyes, because I'm thinking if it was me, I'd be like, at some point in the show, I'd be like,
also like an invasion of privacy day.
Yeah.
It was her. She in the last week, she's like, oh, and then she did it the other way. She had set it up.
Oh yeah, she told us. Yeah, I remember her like joking about it. Those videos, those Herald Night videos that you used to take of us. I one time, it's so embarrassing. On a first date, I got drunk and I showed a first date like a video of not even our whole Herald, but a scene that I was really funny in. She's like, cool.
Did you get it? Did you really have a second date? No. If anything, over the course of the rest of the date, she managed to embarrass herself more than what I did. And so it was like we just sort of like tipped our cap to one another and went our separate way. Like, Oh man, I love it. The idea of like, I'm imagining her being like, yeah, I'd love to see one of your shows sometime. And you're like, well, actually, right now you
you don't have to wait. She spent the night, but like nothing happened. We just spent the night. We just fell asleep. And then the next morning I woke up and took a shower before she woke up, and I came back into the bedroom and she had found like some like little mini like Tanqueray bottles, like little gin bottles, and she was just drinking them, and I was like, whoa. All right. I mean, honestly, spending the night with somebody who shows their improv show on their computer make me pretty depressed too.
I gotta forget this night real fast.
Yeah, geez, I'm waking up to this. And then when I came back in, I had like my underwear on, but my penis was poking out of my boxer shorts. And she was like, "Oh, your penis is sticking out." I was like, "Oh, sorry."
That's for sure her bottom.
She said it to me as if I was like, almost as if like she was my mom and I was walking out the door with like a little bit of like dirt on my face or something. Dave, should we read that next letter?
Yep.
I believe we got what, 3 more left?
Yeah, I got 2 on my end.
Yeah.
Right. This one comes from listener out in southern. I fucked that up. Okay. All right. This is from Ryan Rosenberg. This is from your good friend Ryan Rosenberg, who you perform with quite a bit, including You're the Man Now.
Correct.
Podcast. All right. And Teacher's Lounge and Big Grande. All right, here we go. Dan, you're a sweet, kind, and very funny person. You're a good listener and are great at making people feel welcome and understood. Not only are you one of the smartest people I know, but you're also very tall and good at basketball, even shooting. You are also friends with my mom, which is cool. And the times you helped her coordinate birthday treats for me when she couldn't be there to celebrate made us both feel great. It feels good to be your friend because I know I'm taken care of, and we're always laughing. I love you.
I love you too, Ryan.
Oh, that was really great.
Sweet. How close friends are you with Rose's mom? Like, is this like a texting weekly sort of thing?
No, yeah, we're not super in touch, but we have a nice little conversations when we see each other, and she's
great.
like an active fan of our podcast and like on our Twitter, so she'll like interact with us there. But yeah, his birthday is always like on or near the Super Bowl. It's February 1st. and so we were like having a Super Bowl thing at my place, and so she was like, hey, let's I'm gonna buy him some cakes if you can pick them up and do a whole thing.
Oh,
Which was
so
really
nice.
sweet. Yeah.
Were you in
That
class
had to make.
with Ryan?
No, Ryan and I met. I don't again know exactly how we met, but we had like a show together at Crash Bar after the Super Bowl one year, actually, where it was like a team of people who happened to be watching the game together, and it was like, we need to. But someone was like, I scheduled a team this night, and we were like, why did you schedule the night of the Super Bowl? But we went and performed and had like a ton of fun together, and we just remember like both thinking the other person was so funny. And that was like our first kind of like moment.
That's awesome.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. It's probably like
someone in the chat says it makes sense that Dan would be good at basketball because of his height, but I just don't see it. And I will attest to Dan's prowess on the basketball court. Dan's really good. Dan is frustrating to play against. Like, just because, like, if I on offense, it's like, well, I'm not doing anything this game. Like, Dan's such a great stout defender. That's like, well, all right, maybe I'll get some good passing in, but that's about it.
Now, this is the nicest compliment I've gotten so far.
Oh, hell yeah.
You were always good, but you've like improved in a way in the last like year where you were way harder to guard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got a little faster. I lost some weight and got faster.
Yeah. You also like use your strength a lot more.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like more just work.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. That going up strong and being strong with the basketball, something I was never good at. And I think I talked about this maybe on like dumbbells, but when you're tall, like, and you're playing basketball, it comes with like certain expectations. Like the people you play with have certain expectations of you, especially strangers. And it's like, when I don't deliver on what they want, you get like a bunch of like heat thrown at you, and it fucking sucks.
Oh man, I relate to that. Everybody
right?
being like, "Come on, big man!" Like,
yeah, that's what big man, do it slow. What are you doing? And, like,
don't fade on that, big man.
Yeah, I have a very bad habit of like starting my shot low, like coming like up, and so I'll constantly get like stuffed by guys who are 5'7" and 5'8", and it's so embarrassing.
Not anymore, though.
Not anymore.
That's a cool thing about our Sunday game is it's like it's all good vibes, and it's a very supportive game, and everyone like gives each other advice. And it's like everyone's pretty good at being like, hey, if you start from up here all the time, like I can't ever block you, or like, hey, I know you do this move a lot, I'm gonna block you unless you do a head fake.
Yeah, when I was playing like Sunday hoops a lot, I was also playing like at a park like a couple times a week, and so like I would be so used to just like the fun, good energy of Sunday hoops, and then show up at this park, and everyone was a monster, taking it way too seriously. So much anger and bickering and fighting. It's like I had to stop.
It is so weird. It's like the stakes here couldn't be lower. What are you mad about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Foul! That's a foul!
No, what? Like arguing over the score. Like, yeah. What does it matter? Who cares?
Have either of you played ever at the Venice Beach courts?
No.
Yeah.
Like the white men can't jump courts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I first moved out here 10 years ago, I like was going through like a big basketball phase. I didn't really know anybody, and the dude I was in 101 with, we were like, let's play basketball. And so we usually play at Pan Pacific Park, but we're like, let's go to Venice. Let's see what it's like. I mean, I didn't really know much about it. Like, I didn't know how intense it was. And like, I showed up, and they'll have like, the main court where people are playing that has like bleachers and stuff. And then they have like kind of these little side courts. I steered way clear of the main court once I got there, because it was like, oh no, this ain't happening. But I went there with the intention of being like, yeah, I'll get involved in the big game. So it's like there are guys like dunking from the foul line and stuff.
Oh man,
it's like, yeah, no,
it's like
that's
dudes that were like D1 that didn't make the NBA. Or that,
yeah, for sure.
I didn't realize, because I just rewatched White Men Can't Jump. I didn't realize they were like specifically that area had that reputation and still does.
Yeah, it's legit, like good basketball being played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Here, who's that?
You're up, buddy.
My turn? Yep. Yeah, I'm up. So this next letter comes from Drew Tarver. Dan makes everything better. My life has been better since I met him. I'm proud to say that he's my friend. He makes me laugh harder than anyone, but he's also as kind as he is funny. He leads with kindness. Most of the comedy shows I've done, I've shared the stage with Dan, and there's no one I would rather be on stage with. He makes the dumb things I say somehow make sense and supports me even when I'm wrong. He's a true friend, and there's no one's advice I respect more. He makes me a better person. Also, he once slapped me in a Starbucks, and I'll never forgive him for that. I mean, I gotta ask about what happened at Starbucks. Was this like a legitimate angry slap, or just like
no? It was another. Well, it turned into it. It was like another Del Close marathon story, where we had Drew was like, "There's these biscuits. This place has the best biscuits. We got to get these biscuits and gravy. We got to go." And it was like, it took us like over an hour to get there. Like it was a whole to do. And at some point on the trip, we ended up in a Starbucks because we needed to like take a break from traveling to go. And for no real reason other than just like whatever, like, and also at DCM, you're not sleeping at all. You're like exhausted all the time, kind of grumpy like half the time,
a little drunk, like, or hungover. Drunk or hungover.
And Drew had come out of the bathroom, and I think I had like planned with someone like John, I think Mackie, to like do that. And he came out and I like slapped him in the face, and then John slapped him. And I've never seen someone's like little brother 13-year-old self come out in their face so much as when he went like, "Hey, quit it." And he got like really mad. He was like, "I do not like people hitting my face," which no one does. It's totally reasonable.
Call me crazy, but I do not like.
But it was just like,
weird things about me is I don't like getting hit in the face.
I think around our friends we're so like good at like being our just whatever, like controlling the parts of ourselves we don't want them to see. And that was like a part of him that came out fully out of control and fully rationally, where he just like became like his most like, "Quit it," like self.
Did you have like instant regret, like the moment you did it?
I felt guilty, yeah. But I did find it to be very funny. I would probably do it again.
I have this memory that haunts me. Like every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? I was like doing a play in high school, and in the same sort of vein, like my friend was the lead in the play, and like I thought with my friends, like, oh, it'd be really funny if we pranked him during the curtain call when he was the last one out to come out and take his bow. And it's like, let's TP him, and it'll be like a funny like prank. And so he came out, and we were gonna TP him, and so we got like some toilet paper from the bathrooms at the school that are like rock hard and they don't really flow very well. So we just ended up hitting him in the head with toilet paper rolls. They didn't fly in any way. We ruined his big moment, like his sweet moment where he was coming out on stage. And like, I remember the look he shot me that same way, that just like that anger, like hurt look. I was like, oh, like devastated.
Yeah. There's like no words to communicate like you seeing exactly how you just made somebody feel.
Yeah. Very, very long apology afterwards.
Yeah. Did he forgive you?
Yeah. We're
That's
still
nice.
friends.
That's good. Another one of those stories that just is shaped in a different context now with how we use toilet paper.
Oh yeah, now I feel extra guilty wasting toilet paper like
You couldn't have known though.
Yeah. Dave, would you like to read our next one?
Yep, I would.
We have two more. Oh, one more. This is it.
This is it.
The big finale.
All right, this one comes from your friend, teammate, writing partner, Justin Michael. Am I right to say writing partner?
Sometimes? Yes, not recently, but we have in the past.
Have in the past.
Friendship All Stars of Friendship, Friendship All Stars on YouTube. Find it. Stop motion animation.
Here we go. I love it. I love it. To my gossip queen, the Dan Man. I'm so thankful to have such a wildly funny, intelligent, and thoughtful friend in my life for 15-ish years now. You're the chillest travel buddy, the easiest person to improvise with, and definitely the funniest, inaccurate Ron Perlman impression I'll ever hear in my life. One of the coolest things about knowing you for so long is not only getting to see the dreams you had in college become an outward reality, but also seeing you choosing to go inward and grow an understanding of yourself and a deeper sense of empathy for the world around you. That shit's hard. You're a deeply caring and introspective guy, but also a wild man who likes to push back against any sort of authority and or dump an entire margarita pitcher on someone, Drew's, head. I like both of these Dans very much. Drew's really getting the brunt of this. As an improviser, you soak up the spotlight with big, confident individual choices, but you also quietly support the structure of a show and make the other person look good because you being funny is never at the expense of your scene partner. You selflessly look out for the people you love on and off stage, and you deserve all the love back, my dude. So love you, Justin.
Love you too, Justin. Oh. Yeah, like Justin's such a symbol of like my LA life. He's kind of like, we've known each other basically since I moved out here. Started college. And have always been so close, and like our relationship, we've both like grown together in such cool ways. And sweet. The next day, that was also at the Del Close Marathon, and the day after I was like, oh man, I think I got a little crazy at the at the bar, and Justin was like, yeah, you dumped a pitcher of margaritas on Drew's head, and he had paid for it, and I was like, oh sorry. He's like, yeah, it was a $75 pitcher.
That was the same DCM where you slapped him in the face.
I don't know.
I'll be honest, these normally seem like moves that Drew himself would make, but he's getting it done to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you had to get, like, if somebody said, person A did this to person B, and then you told them afterwards, all right, the two people involved were Dan Lippert and Drew Tarver, you would probably, I would guess that that Drew was the person slapping someone in the face, slapping you in the face and dumping margarita.
Yeah.
I guess there was a period of my life where I got like an impish little streak of like
all directed at one person.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. Thank you for tolerating me.
I mean, both things are very funny. Like what you did both times are hilarious.
It's so funny that like to hear stories that are like, oh, you've become like so empathetic and like thoughtful and so kind and whatever, and then like also like, and you really tortured your friends.
Yeah, very a big emphasis on that become. Watching you become empathetic. Well, awesome. Dan, thanks so much for doing this. This was really fun.
Thanks for having me. This was, you guys are, so where did this idea stem from?
Ryan?
Yeah, I was just thinking of stuff we could do on here. And yeah, I thought it'd be fun. Like, I think, yeah, comedians have a weird relationship with praise and sincerity. And so kind of forcing it on them, seeing how they do. But I think it's also funny for the people writing the letters, because you can kind of sense sometimes like a certain, like almost like an uptightness of like I don't want to be too sincere. I like a joke. I need to put a joke in here, you know, right. Like
yeah,
before it gets too heavy. And it's fascinating to see.
Well, I really appreciated it. I'm gonna text all those people or call them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right now, just having this is like a fun exercise, and I like doing this, and it makes me really wish that we were all going to UCB Franklin tonight.
Yeah, I
know.
was gonna say it's like there's so much that was a part of that routine because your show would end and our show was right after, and it was such like a nice consistency to be able to see you guys backstage and like check in and also
Hang for a
watch your
minute, yeah.
shows and like laugh my fucking ass off and be so impressed with you guys as performers and people too. I really miss that.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Nice. It's so good to see you, man. Miss you.
You too. Miss you.
Yeah, bud.
What's next on the docket? Who's coming in? Is this the end of the show?
I don't know. We got some. I got some bits planned. Dave, I want to do a bit where I liked having our draft the other day. I want to do another draft where we draft like kitchen utensils, and the idea is we're all having the queen over for a dinner, and we're all serving the same meal, and so like there's only to be like 2 spoons available, and you get where I'm going with this, right? So if the soup is being served and you have no spoons, you got to like convince the queen that it's normal and okay to eat soup however you need to do it.
Quarren Queen meal.
Yeah, Quarren Queen meal.
Quarren Queen meal. The
Yeah.
Quarren Queen draft.
So that's the sort of stuff we're coming up with here. It's really exciting.
I love the new types of draft. If you ever need someone to join in on one of those, I would love to do that.
Absolutely. I love drafts. I love tournaments and brackets. Can't get enough of them. So we'll be doing a lot of that stuff. All right. Thanks again so much, Dan. Everybody else, we will see you on Monday. In the meantime, keep going.
Thanks for having me, guys. Love you guys.
Love you too, buddy.
Bye.
Bye.